Welcome back to the Voices of Women Summit, where in honor of International Women's Day 2023, we are raising the voices of hundreds of women so their messages can be heard. Your host for this session is Leslie Evans. Leslie is the creator of Rise of the Phoenix and co-host of Embrace the Woo event series. She has another amazing guest coming right up.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Voices of...
Sorry, the sound is going a little bit, isn't it? Sorry, I interrupted it, but welcome, Jannette. It's so lovely to see you and have you here with us.
Awesome to be here. Thank you, Leslie.
All right. Now, before we get started, I want people to know what who you are. So we're going to be talking a little bit about what you should focus on and how to eliminate overwhelm, do only what works to get more clients. So Jannette's title is The Expansionist because she helps women and businesses grow with over 35 years of strategic planning, sales, and marketing experience. And yes, she started when she was 7. She is a contrarian, which just means that she'll tell you like it really is. She brings in-depth expertise to showing women how to tap into their why or purpose to profit both themselves and others. She'll tell you what actually works to get your business working so you can make the difference you're here to make. Whether she's speaking, training, or coaching, she will kick your butts and hold your heart as you step boldly into creating the positive results you are looking for. It's so lovely to have you here, Jannette.
Thanks so much, Leslie. And yes, it's kicking your butts, all those butts. I can't do it. I can't make it work. All of those butts. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So Jannette, you've got a lot of stuff that you want to, that you help women with. Tell us, what makes you so passionate about this? What led up to that?
I'll tell you what, the short version is that my stand in the world is that I want you to get that you matter and live like you do. And the reason that that's my passionate stand is because, of course, I always wanted to matter. I wanted to get on the damn list, never mind the top of the list, and spent a lifetime of childhood really going through lots of drama and trauma and abuse and neglect and so forth. I grew up with I was going to say single mother, but she was married 5 times, but mostly single. And in that whole process, what I really learned was I became very entrepreneurial because I kind of stepped into the role of being the parent and had to figure out how to, create money because we didn't have any. There were addictions and all sorts of issues. And so we never had any money or stability. So I kind of became the parent. And therefore I had like my first business when I was, 5, just turned 5. I wanted the book Heidi, and I begged my mom and begged my mom and begged my mom, as only a very determined Aries child can. And finally, one day she turned around and she yelled, she said, "No, we can't afford it." Now, I'd heard that a lot before, but what I really remember was seeing the look of shame and fear and doubt and guilt on her face. And I remember feeling, even as a little child, I never wanted to see that look on another person's face again, because that not being able to say yes to what we want, what we long for, the simple little things that we want and deserve and can have, doesn't have to be. So I just kind of decided at that point, I didn't want to see that look, and I was going to do whatever it took to make sure that women especially could say yes to what they wanted. Sorry, I have to apologize. I have a flu still, and I cough a lot, so I will just mute when I cough. So please bear with me, everybody.
Take a moment whenever you need it, Jannette.
And so from that point forward, I became very entrepreneurial. Problem, kids don't overcomplicate things like adults do. Problem, we need money. Solution, get money. So I went and had a garage sale. One day when mom was at work, I hauled everything I could out of the house and I priced it because I really did come out of the womb entrepreneurial. So I priced it all and I sold it and I made money and I thought it was a great solution. It's like, yay. Mom came home and I was, look, $13.72. I still remember to this day because I could count before I could read. Just a sec. Sorry, everyone. So, and that's the last time I'll apologize. Very Canadian that way. So I really would just wanted to solve the problem. So I had the money. So now we could go get the book, right? Wrong. That's not quite how my mom saw it. She was not happy that I sold our household knickknacks and small appliances and a dress of hers and my toys. I sold my toys too. So she made me go around and buy back everything I could buy back, which mostly I got back the household stuff, but I didn't get my toys. So then, in many cases, many people would say, and in fact, I got spanked. She took my money and I didn't get the book, at least not right away. So many people would say that wasn't a very successful entrepreneurial venture, but I actually think it really was, because had I not, had an intervention there, I would have had the money to go buy the book, Problem Solution. So I learned some important lessons from that. Number one, don't go into business with family. I'm kind of kidding, but not really. Anyways, number two was when you want to create something, you can create an entrepreneurial solution for it. You can take your destiny into your own hands, especially when it comes to your finances, right? And so I really kind of learned that early, and then had businesses ever after. Like my next business my next business was my first franchise. I had a lemonade stand and I saw these other corners that weren't covered. And we had one of those TV tray sets that had 4 TV trays, which only old people will remember. But
I remember.
I set up 3 of my friends on other corners, and I made signs for them, and I gave them the trays, and I got my mom to help make me 4 other jugs of lemonade, and we split the profits 50-50. I took the 50 and they got 50, and that was my first franchise. And then I had my first business was when I was 11, and I had a 9-year-old that I used to babysit as my employee, and we ran a little day camp in our housing tenement for the kids for the summer. So I, like I said, came out entrepreneurial, and I really do see it as a path to freedom, to self-expression, to especially women really stepping into their power, to contribution, to being the difference that we're here to be. And there's so many people who are going into entrepreneurship, but one of the things that really stops them is they get overwhelmed. There's so many things to do, right? So how do we avoid that overwhelm? And part of that is that I think that especially as women, and this applies for some men as well, we're really busy trying to be all things to all people. So the first thing, if you're feeling overwhelmed, is to really look and see, are you really honing in on who you want to be, who you want to serve, and what problem you want to solve? If those 3 things aren't really dialed in, then you're doing more of a spray and pray kind of approach to business, and you're going to probably burn yourself out, and you're going to diffuse your efforts because you're trying to reach everybody with a very broad, very vague message. So it's not effective. It's more expensive, and it takes a lot more energy. So one of the ways to eliminate overwhelm is, and get more clients, is to really focus on who am I being, and that comes down to really understanding your why. Why do you do what you do? So why I do what I do is I don't ever want to see that look on another woman's face. I want them to get that they matter and live like they do. And so everything I do, all of the work that I do, helping clients with growing their business, helping them overcome their limitations, helping them get the 4 inches between their ears working so the business can work, is all about really at its core, supporting them, getting that they matter and living like they do. So one way to eliminate overwhelm is to really look and see, are you trying to be all things to all people? And if you are, how can you flip that and reverse it and be something special to one person? Because if you are someone who can solve a problem for one person, then you can solve it for the next one and the next one and the next one. But if you were in a room and someone was standing in front of you and there was a bunch of people, you were at a party or something, and that person was standing in front of you talking to you, and instead of talking to you, they just talked to the room in general, loudly about general things, you would think they're really weird and you would not feel like they were actually connecting with you. And yet we try and do that in our marketing. So it makes no sense. Talk to the person in front of you. And because all marketing is a conversation with one person. So that's one way to focus and eliminate overwhelm, is to make sure your marketing is you talking to one person about who you are, what you care about, your why, and the problem you solve and how you can help them. The second thing that I would say is that if you are getting overwhelmed, chances are very good that you're probably not clear on your customer journey, where you're taking people from and to. Most entrepreneurs in my 40 years of working with them don't really understand what I call the premise and the promise. The premise is the problem they're solving. What's the problem you're solving in the world? So at one level, the problem I help women solve is how to get their next 10, tens, or hundreds of clients. At the level under it is, who do they need to be in order to do that? What do they need to do and what do they need to have? At the level under that is, how do we expand their context, their container, so that they can create expanded results? But the top line, the top of mind thing, the problem that I solve is helping them get more clients. What's the problem you solve? What's the problem they have at the bottom of the mountain? And then where do you take them to? What's the promise? What's the view at the top of the mountain? And so when they're out there, what are they seeing? They're being more effective in their contribution. They're making consistent, reliable income. They are profiting from living their purpose, and they know how they're getting their clients up that mountain in a way that makes sense for them. Not some cookie cutter model, because cookies cutters are for cookies, not for businesses. All right. So part of eliminating overwhelm is being really dialed in on the problem you solve and the destination you're taking people to, and what that journey looks like. What are the steps and stages that work for you to get your client from here to here? When you know that, then you can make all sorts of decisions like, do I need 3 different programs or do I just need one? What's the first step I take them on, and what's the best vehicle for serving them with that? What's then the next problem that we need to solve together, and what's the best vehicle for doing that? It helps you make a lot more decisions about your business model and where you're going in a way that makes a whole lot more sense, so that you're not just trying to do so many things, and you're actually honing in on what works to get that person up the mountain, to get them into your sphere. Because, you know, you'll be told, well, you got to do social media and you got to do this and you got to do shorts and videos and da. That alone can get people overwhelmed. Just social media on its own, right? Like, I'm sure in your business, you've had times, Leslie, where it's like, if I have to do one more thing on one more social media platform, I'm going to poke my eyes out with a fork. Is that true?
No kidding. It's so overwhelming at times.
Yeah. And it's often actually a distraction, because for most people, most women who are at the practice builder stage, I'll tell you what I mean by that in a minute, is that's not the right strategy for them. That's not the right way to get clients into your sphere. It's actually a waste of time and a distraction. So really, part of avoiding that overwhelm is what fits for you authentically. What is your why? What's going to work for you? But also really understanding what stage of business you're at, because different strategies, different marketing tactics, different ways of being as a leader work at different stages. So I created something called the Business Success Roadmap, that is a definition or a roadmap through everything from dream builder, where you're just starting out, you're figuring out who you are, what you want, where you're going, what kind of things you want to do in the world. Practice builder, typically you're a solopreneur, you're getting going, you've got some clients, you've done some delivery, you have a sense of who you are and what you want to solve, but you haven't really dialed in how to do that on a consistent, reliable basis, maybe. Business builder, you're starting to move into out of the selling an hour's work for an hour's pay into a model where you've got a business that delivers the product or service. And so you may not have to do the work. You might still be doing the work, but you're not the only source of income for the business. The business can stand on its own. Then the next stage is impact builder. That's where you're starting to scale your business, grow it, serve more people, create more income, have more infrastructure and team, et cetera, et cetera. And then the final step is legacy builder, where you may be scaling up, you may be scaling down, but it's really about what's your final contribution to the world, what's the legacy you're building and leaving behind. The problem in our industry, this expertpreneur world, this online world of service providers and people who sell what they know, and even in the kind of, you know, practical or the products and services and retail world, is they're practicing tactics from a stage ahead of where they are. In our expertpreneur world, many of the gurus are selling impact builder solutions to people who are in the practice builder or early business builder stages, and they don't work. Because you don't have the list they have, you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the cash flow, you don't have the team, you don't have the context to be able to implement those leverage solutions. And then you feel like you're wrong or bad, and that you get kind of overwhelmed because you don't have what you need to be able to implement it. So chances are very good that if you're experiencing overwhelm and not getting as many clients as you want, it could very well be that you're just trying to do things that are ahead of the stage you're at. You just need to come back to what works at the stage you're at. That's what I work with a lot of clients on, is how do you slow your roll so you can speed up your results? Because in most cases, they're actually just trying to do things that are too advanced. If you put someone who is in grade 5 into a grade 12 class, they'd be very confused, overwhelmed, and feel lost, right? And it wouldn't be helpful and it wouldn't be successful. So don't do that. Don't set yourself up for failure that way. So, you know, knowing what stage you're at and working at that stage is one way to avoid overwhelm and get more clients. Really being focused on the conversation you're having with the people that you're having, and being clear on what's your premise, what's your promise, and how do you convey that? And then also being very clear on who are my people, what do they need, how would they what did they think of that as, will help you to not try and be all things to all people, to be more focused in that one-on-one conversation. Because there's so much we can do, and most of it is not actually helpful. So that's why I'm very passionate about making sure that people actually just focus on what will get them results. And, you know, it sounds kind of simple, and like lots of people say that, but few people actually do that. Very few coaches, business coaches especially, actually help people work on what will help them at the stage that they're at. They help them work with their methodology or their widget or their way of doing things, and kind of push you into that model. And yeah, it doesn't work.
So Jannette, what I hear you saying is you look at people personally. You speak to one person, just like you talked about, one person at a time, and build that awareness of where they're at so that you can apply the strategies that work at that stage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Awesome. And I don't want to run out of time before we talk about
yes,
free
exactly.
gift.
Well,
Jannette.
what I was going to say exactly that is that one of the biggest things that many people are missing at those earlier stages, practice builder, business builder, is they're not getting enough people on their list to be able to reach out and influence them, to be able to invite them to conversations, to be able to invite them into your world, into your funnel, to a webinar, to a class, to whatever it is that works for you. So one of the first things that most entrepreneurs need to be focusing on the most is building your list and having conversations with people. If you're not making money, I guarantee you one of those two is not happening enough. Guarantee you. So what I have for you is a masterclass, a training on how to create a lead magnet, a tool for helping you build your list. So if you've already got a lead magnet, this can help you hone it and make it more effective. And if you don't have one, a lead magnet is simply some information-based marketing, something that adds value that you give to people. Could be a training like this one. This is one of my lead magnets. that have people join your mail list so that you can stay in touch, add value, invite them into a conversation if it's appropriate, be of service, and move them through your process with you so that they can get to know, like, and trust you. So I really encourage you to go get it. It's called the Authority and Influence Masterclass, How to Create a Lead Magnet to Build Your List. And it's free for you. I want you to build your list. I want you to get more people in your sphere so you can have a conversation about how you can help them and how you can be the difference that only you can be.
And the other Jannette, who's helping us in the background today, has that link in the chat. So go click on that link and it's right there. Tell us, Jannette, what's your, for those that have upgraded to VIP, along with all the recordings and all the VIP gifts, what's your VIP gift?
So one of the things that I'm a big fan of is actually implementing things. So people go and get lots of different things from giveaways or summits like this. They download them, they put them into a folder, and then they promptly forget about it, or they don't take action, and they get what I call shelf help shame. So they put these things on the shelf, it widens the gap between what you know and what you're doing, and it doesn't really help. When you do the course, I will do a complimentary consultation with you to help you hone your lead magnet to make it really effective. So I will just give you marketing feedback. I'll help you with your title. I'll help you make sure you know where to put it so that you can, and how to use it to build your list as quickly as possible. A one-to-one consultation, the value of that is $500, and it's free for VIPs. And highly valuable because you'll get some really concrete marketing feedback that will help you not only with this lead magnet, but very likely with your other marketing as well.
Beautiful.
So I would love to have you do that. Please go get the training, do the training. And once you do, then contact me with your lead magnet and we can talk about how to make it better and how to make it really work for you.
Wonderful. What a lovely gift, Jannette. And, like I said, I know our speakers work really hard to offer value for all of you and our VIPs. So it is well worth it. Now, before we go, Jannette, very quickly, what is one last thing you'd like to leave our audience with?
Well, actually, what I do want to leave your audience with is, because that's actually the wrong link. So I'm going to give you the right link really quickly here. As soon as I can find it. Oh, it's not working. Oh, well, what that link does actually is give you access to the folder with all of the content in it. So you will still get the training. What it doesn't do is gives you my landing page so that you get on my list and so that I can help you and you can see how the landing page works. So I will try and give them the link or find the link. I'm not sure why we don't have the right one, and I will get it for you. What I want to leave you with is this. There are a million things you could be doing. Most important thing for you to be doing is to make sure you are coming from your why you do what you do, so that you can actually be the leader, be the person that can make that difference.
Wonderful.
Rather than the doing that'll just spin you around.
Wonderful.
So clarify your why. Everything else will be a lot easier when you do.
Beautiful. Those are wonderful last words to leave us with, Jannette. And it's been lovely speaking with you. Stay tuned. Our next speaker is Jasmine, and she'll be speaking about 3 secrets to healing your hormones. Thank you, Jannette. This is such a pleasure.
Appreciate you so much. Take care. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for your contribution to the world. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing session of the Voices of Women Summit, where our mission is to raise the voices of hundreds of women so their messages can be heard. For recordings of all sessions, plus an amazing VIP gift bundle, upgrade to VIP now. If you have any questions or problems during the summit, email our support team at support@voicesofwomensummit.com. Stay tuned. We have another fantastic speaker coming right up.